So what exactly is zero mass? Well, let me tell you. Zero mass is completely off-grid and self-contained, creating drinking water from just sunlight and air. As a matter of fact, we are not only creating water, we are reinventing it. By using innovation, we believe that we could change how water is seen and used. Zero Mass is serving people in more than 30 countries and counting. Our objective today is to create access to clean drinking water to people in underprivileged areas and to also provide investment opportunities for our investors in India. In the same way that an AC unit creates water from the air, our technology is similar to that, albeit at a much more efficient rate. The process starts with sunlight and air and amplified with hydro panels and nanomaterials. Ambient air is drawn into the device where specially engineered nanomaterials are used to absorb water. It is then condensed and separated from the material through sunlight. The water then runs through a mineral block that adds magnesium and calcium common, which is then collected in a 30-liter reservoir. Each panel is an independent water supply, entirely independent of the grid and electricity as well. With 2 solar panels, 5 liters of water can be created per day. On top of this, each panel is equipped with information technology that allows them to connect to our database. The panels are constantly sending data back and forth, which are used to track their performance and make adjustments if necessary. This data is used to adjust to any climate range and a sudden change in the weather. Our data also shows that by implementing a typical 2-panel setup, 70,000 plastic bottles can be taken out of the consumer circulation. Zero mass is a step towards a greener and cleaner future. In a time where clean water is becoming scarce, we as a collective need to look towards the future to find ways to tackle this problem. At Zero Mass, we believe that we are at the forefront of this innovation, but we need your help to do so.
Zero Mass, we've decided to move into India. The reason we chose India is because we believe this business could be scaled to $1 million company. There's lots of open land that include dirty bodies of water within the country. Because of this, many Indian people are in need of a clean water supply. It is said that over 163 million people over there don't have access to clean water. So, as Hugh previously mentioned, we'll be setting up our hydro panels around the country to make sure that the water gets cleaned properly and that we can provide good quality water bottles. And looking at this in a business perspective, India has a growing economy and more than 50% of the people who open businesses there are successful. So with all that being said, not only do we have a profitable outlook and not only do we have a growing and stable economy, but we'll be providing many local people with good, clean drinking water. Every project comes to challenges. As we can see here, this project could be very timely as we need construction permits to set up our construction for the hydro panels. This could involve 34 different procedures, which could take up to 200 days. It could be very costly too because tax payments on businesses are 30% annually. And registering properties requires a stamp duty of 5% on the property and a 1% charge on the market value of the property. Not only that, but Indian culture has a lot to do with good relations and trust. So not being familiar with people over there and not knowing their language could pose as a challenge to us, as people give us a hard time when we need to get our construction permits approved and expedite the service. Even with all these challenges in our way, we believe the opportunities outweigh them greatly. Now, I did mention Indian culture is about good relations and trust. We actually have 2 people from India on our team that know many business people over there. So with their help, getting our construction permits approved will be much easier and take less time. There's also a massive labor force in India, as people under the age of 30 are in need of jobs. So while we will be paying a lot of money for annual tax and property taxes, we'll save lots of money in the labor side. And not only that, we will also be providing jobs to many people under the age of 30.
Thank you, Sharik, for analyzing the challenges and opportunities for zero mass water entering the Indian market. According to an article on globalcitizen.org, 163 million people among India's population of 1.3 billion lack access to clean water near their home in 2018. Several water disputes from neighboring countries have even gotten involved in the water crisis within India. People have resorted to unsafe options that have led to more risks. As we discussed the challenges and opportunities for zero mass, I evaluated the different ways that we would like to market to consumers in India. The image of zero mass must be a simple concept and design that can be easily initiated into smaller villages in India that are not used to technological advancements. It will be easily accessible to the consumers and will be presented by local representatives so consumers know that they can trust the brand and what it stands for. The local representatives will be trained on how to explain the technology to the consumers and show them what the product can produce. It is important that consumers are shown the benefits they will receive. In the Indian market, print and mainstream television work best as modes of advertisement. Print is easily distributed amongst consumers in smaller subsections of India. The bigger cities usually have televisions being a universal form of advertisement, as ads are usually displayed through the slim streets of big cities. Both of these modes are the easiest ways to reach the demographic this product will benefit the most. This type of technology can be daunting for those that are not used to technology. Surprisingly enough, there are still parts of the world who have not been exposed to the types of advancements us in America may be used to. We at Zero Mass vow to acknowledge that there are differences in the infrastructure between America and India. There will be a learning curve for those that will be experiencing the benefits of Zero Mass, but we have carefully analyzed the most effective ways to reach our target audience.
So, going into more detail on what target markets we'll be focusing on, our strategy involves the hydro panels we make being sold in major Indian cities such as Chennai, New Delhi, and Bangalore to landowners, developers, and local governments that are in control of building infrastructure. This will allow us to circumnavigate the requirement of these construction permits and allow consumers of our product to have flexibility with where they would want these arrays built in their community. We are also aiming to help developing areas that are struggling in terms of water infrastructure, especially in populated segments. Essentially, we will be targeting demographics in income, education level, and occupation, as this solution is for the more unfortunate when it comes to poor water infrastructure. Areas that have residents of poor income level, low educational level, and minimal to no workforce will be at the highest priority as they are experiencing more than just underdeveloped water delivery systems. With easy access to clean water, this will serve as a foundation to develop Indian cities and is the key to sustainable development. The clean water will result in a healthier workforce and will greatly reduce the amount of plastic waste from bottled water in the area, resulting in lower cleanup costs. By tapping into the growing market of India, this will increase environmental sustainability, which will then aid in growing sales numbers. Zero Mass Water has the potential to grow its profits exponentially as it expands on a global scale and targets more markets in developing cities. In terms of competitors who are looking to focus on those same targets, there are very few out there. Some leading examples are Solar Twin Ltd., Zytec Incorporated, and Unconquered Sun Solar Technologies Incorporated, and they do have the goal of bringing drinking water to struggling developing countries. However, they have very different methods of achieving this, or their method is far more inferior compared to our means. For example, in terms of outreach, they are very low impact as they do not have the large following or popularity that Zero Mass Water has. We are getting more attention as many consumers and interested parties are liking what we are able to produce and deliver, for we are improving every single day in terms of bettering our methods or increasing our profits. These companies at best will be a temporary solution as they are not able to match us in terms of what we are able to produce. They either range from either solar consulting to photovoltaic modules/solar panels or to even doing hydro panels like ours. The list goes on. At the end of the day, what Zero Mass Water can put on the table, no company today can match us, as this is why we believe that Zero Mass is the company for you. So now I'm going to hand it off to Dalton as he will explain our strategy, but from a more financial outlook.
Now that we have gone over the marketing process, let's review the finances. Starting with the costs. The cost of a 2-panel array, including installation, is about $4,500, and each array will last close to 10 years with each panel producing 2 to 5 liters of clean water per day. which is about 10 water bottles. Over the lifetime of the panel, it will create up to 18,250 liters of water and will cost an average of $1.23 per day. To put things into perspective, the average 8-ounce water bottle is $1.43, not taking into account for the cost of waste removal associated with the plastic components of the bottle. Regardless of the high upfront cost, the daily costs associated with the panels are relatively low. Luckily, the demand for clean water is inelastic as consumption of clean water is essential for life. With the cost in mind, let's take a look at our investment opportunities. Zero Mass Water is estimated to make an average of $10 million in revenue each year. We are looking to make another $5 million from the sale of privately traded shares and through government subsidies. With more funding from our investors, we will be able to move our company into more developing countries in need of clean water. Access to the global market will allow us to introduce Zero Mass Water to a larger section of our target market. Entering the Indian market is our main priority in the next fiscal year. The market for sustainable access to clean water in India has grown rapidly as the world has become more environmentally aware. Our product has the potential to increase revenues exponentially with a greater access to this Indian market.